Awesome. Okay, all good. Yeah, so everyone, thanks for joining the call. It's been a while. It's been quite a busy few weeks for us on the team working on the back end with JEDSTAR. 2 weeks ago, myself, I did a trip to Ho Chi Minh, so Vietnam. It was my first time in Vietnam. It was really nice. One of the reasons why we sort of head there was mainly it was really post one of the biggest Web3 event in Ho Chi Minh City itself. And there was quite a few Web3 games, both from Southeast Asia, but also from the Middle East and North Africa sort of coming down. With that as well, there was some sort of other Web3 projects and institutional investors. So for us, it was sort of a good opportunity to meet people that we usually don't really get to meet face-to-face here in Singapore. And it's only an hour flight. So I thought we sort of went down there, and we met quite a few interesting projects, Web3 games, but also Web3 projects that we can sort of work together with what we're doing with KD Arena, as well as other brands who sort of might want to be interested to sort of leverage the community that we have and to work with us. It's one of the main reasons. Then after for Vietnam, did a quick stop in Indonesia to sort of launch one of the sort of largest, well, at least historically, one of the largest female esports tournaments. Historically, the past 2 years, so this is the third iteration of the Unipin Ladies Series, which is a Mobile Legends tournament. And the past 2 years, I think they were ranked top 3, top 4 tournaments in terms of female esports tournaments generally, not just Mobile Legends. I think they've been dethroned recently with a Valorant tournament that had like a $50,000 prize. So there was quite a huge prize pool. So I think that sort of dethroned, sort of brought it down a bit in the ranks. But still, I think a top 5 female leagues out there, it's one that's pretty exceptional. It sort of also coincides with our launch of KD Arena. So while the tournament has sort of started, we're going to slowly get them, and when I say them, I'm talking about the official team sort of jumping on board. And for those who follow Unipin or even our KD Arena socials, you'll start seeing that KD Arena is starting to be peppered everywhere. So people are starting to sort of recognize our name in this sort of esports industry, which is pretty great. Sort of step away a bit from the crypto side. As we know, we all come from a crypto community, but at the same time, it's for us to sort of really grow, we sort of have to tap another community as well. And I think the gaming community, and I think we all agree, the gaming community and esports community is one of the best out there for us to sort of tap. So that's going to be really interesting. Since we are on KD Arena, sort of want to talk about it a bit. So we have some of our team members who have, I think since yesterday or this morning, at least within the last 24 hours, depending on which time zone we are, they've sort of managed to sort of register, create their profile on KD Arena. So that's going to be fun because we're going to organize some tournaments and play amongst ourselves. One of the biggest challenge, I think, and this is outside of the realm of KD Arena for us during testing for the tournaments, is I guess it's going to be the servers, because being on different servers, different part of the world, there might be some issues there depending on the game that we are choosing, but we're still going to sort of move forward with that. And we're going to slowly start introducing all the various gamers that we have within our community onto KD Arena. I shared with you guys an image, and that's sort of the progression, the sort of development roadmap, I would like to call it, even though we try not to use the word roadmap because it has not the best connotation in crypto, having a roadmap, I feel. But when we look at it, now that we are the first step of getting sort of people starting to onboard KD Arena as a test, we are going to slowly start integrating everything that we've been building, basically the last year, more than a year now, the last 2 years. And the first one being Agora. So together with Agora, right now when we launch KD Arena in terms of tournament, because we're going to start onboarding, we've been, as you guys know, we've been organizing tournaments on our side manually before KD Arena event was out. And usually our tournaments can get about like between 100 to 1,000 players or gamers, depending on which game, whether it's Mobile Legends or PUBG, and whether we do a mix or male or female sort of tournament. So we're going to slowly get them on board KD Arena. It's going to be sort of real small baby steps to get them on board in terms of like introducing them cred as a currency. There's quite a bit of education there, because there's a few things they would need to sort of understand, right? In terms of like when dealing with crypto, there will be some sort of layer of KYC just from a security and safety perspective. There's also going to be understanding, while we provide a wallet, but understanding how to do transactions, etc. and all that. So there's a bit of education for us there, but we're going to slowly onboard them either through videos, any sort of FAQs, etc. and all that. And we're actually ready with Agora on Matic, which will be integrating together with KD Arena. So you'll be able to sort of go to Agora and purchase SFTs, as well as the PFPs that are going to be launching right a few weeks after. You'll be able to mint some PFPs for your profile picture on KD Arena. But one thing that's really interesting there is we are going to sort of integrate, we're going to literally integrate Unipin within Agora itself. So Unipin sells digital assets, as you guys might know. We're talking about, PUBG Gold, PUBG Credit, Mobile Legend Diamonds, etc. and all that. So they'll be able to purchase those with all the credit that they sort of earn. So they'll be able to purchase Web2 digital assets as well as Web3 digital assets. So that's sort of the process that we're going through. As you guys can see on the map, we sort of really thought through in terms of what are we going to integrate first, and then moving forward. Next, as you're earning cred, we're going to start introducing JED as a currency as well. So cred will be sort of that currency as always planned to be sort of the token that you would use within the ecosystem to make purchases, whether it's Web2 or Web3, and JED would be that token that you sort of stake and be able to earn cred from it. We, as you guys know, our ecosystem is pretty intricate. We are solving that with the multi-chain, as well as providing liquidity in all the other tokens. So that's not just purchasing of cred and getting more JED. But I think at the start, for them, when they have their cred, when they're winning their cred on KD Arena, is not such a bad thing for them to use their cred to stake it into JED first, or if not, use it on Agora itself. So that slowly sort of introduced to them instead of opening straight away the whole worldwide world of crypto to them. And then obviously we're going to add on all the other games that we have. So we have Stardom. So that's one way for them to use their cred as well on top of Agora. And then slowly the lottery with Silver Vault. And then another thing, because most of the tournaments right now on KD Arena is multiplayer tournaments, which is sort of different when you're playing solo games. And we have quite a few solo games, one-player games that sort of approach us. We're going to start with Night Claws, which we're going to make some sort of improvements to it along the way, but it will still be a better version before we sort of launch the first version. But we have sort of ladder challenges to it, so that as a solo player, I can still sort of in some way or another earn various currencies. For Night Claws, it'll be cred, obviously. But for the other games that we introduce, it will be like the game's own NFT or the game's own token. That's that. And then moving forward, and this is going to be the fun and interesting part in terms of JED and cred's evolution in terms of what the token can be used, but also KD Arena as a token. KD Arena as a platform. One thing that I've sort of not put in here is the chain that we're sort of building. So the chain that we're sort of building is actually launching at the same time as the social media platform. So everything will be sort of on-chain plus multi-chain across all the other chains that we're sort of been testing on the past few weeks right now. And you'll be able to, on top of having a profile and organize or take part in tournaments, you'll be able to sort of make friends, engage with your friends, put some posts, etc., and all that, like your Twitter or your Facebook kind of thing. We are going to take the approach of the Twitter model in terms of like if you generate a lot of engagement on your posts, you'll be eligible to some rewards. And then the next step will be for those with a higher sort of engagement compared to the usual social media users. So, aka like the influencers, the new influencers that are going to be on KD Arena, they'll be able to start by building their fan base and have a subscription model. So basically, you can follow people and subscribe to them and have either access to some services they provide or access to some exclusive content that they might have. But also gives you the opportunity to sort of be able to sell live, whether digital or physical assets to your followers or your fan base. So that's sort of what we're looking at in terms of the roadmap right now. So we've got quite a busy next 6 to 8 months sort of ahead, from announcements to launches to development work as well. There's obviously going to be a lot of art involved as we're launching the PFPs. There's going to be various versions of PFPs. There's also the comic books. We'll do also some work on the game side as well. So it's going to be very busy the next few months for us, and it's going to be really exciting. Before I sort of take a step back and sort of talk about all the other things, mainly sort of the announcement that we've made earlier in earlier in the chat, which is with regards to Jetpool and what we're doing with Phoenix. Maybe I'll just sort of take a small little break and open it up for any questions that you guys might sort of have, if there's any. So I see some questions on the chat. So yes, Scott, it's recorded. And when Zed, it will be announced pretty soon. I'm surprised it's not Laurent phone. So I'm just opening up the floor if you guys have any questions. Just on this roadmap, we're going to touch on other things after that. But if you guys have any specific questions in terms of...
There's a question on the social media platform that we are having. So will it also have live streaming is a query?
Yes, so pretty much I think that's going to be an important aspect for it. There's going to be, so it's going to be taken by steps the way we are building it. So the first step would be enabling sort of upload of videos first. So think of Twitter and how sort of or YouTube Shorts or how TikTok sort of started. When we move to the next phase, which is like closer to March, then that's where the live stream would be enabled. Right now, we are having, I think the biggest conversation we are having is like whether we want it both to be desktop and mobile. Inclination right now, based on just like, the demand, and also based on like our own team, our own development team bandwidth, would be we will go towards mobile first. So right now, KD Arena, as people are testing and as we are going to launch all up the way until Jan, it's going to be web-based, and it's going to be web-based, but moving forward, it's going to be app-based as well. So you can use the site and the app. And we believe at this stage, the priority would be live mobile streaming. I know from a gaming perspective, it might seem difficult for some, but I believe I believe people are sort of getting used to it, and especially the sort of younger generation, the Gen Z generation. Basically, they're pretty much used to sort of live streaming through their phone rather than through their PC. Does that answer your question?
I guess it does. It's a comprehensive answer. It should. Hope
No
Matthias
worries.
got the answer he's looking for. Yeah, he confirmed.
Any other questions? I saw a few guys sort of unmute themselves.
Yeah. Do we already know more info about Star Staking Season 2, the same conditions as Season 1? I guess if you are having any updates and you're covering the topic later on, we could hold this question till then.
I mean, I can touch on it a bit more.
Yeah.
I can touch on it a bit more later, but the immediate answer, like the short answer would be, so we're going to launch the Jetpool first, and with Star Staking integrated. within KD Arena, what we're going to do is we're going to launch all the other three staking sort of all the other three staking programs first before the season 2 itself. The priority for us would be the one where we will be working, because so there's a few partnerships that we're working with, right? Working with basically another Web3 game. So that's going to be really interesting, and we've got a sort of standard template. So we believe that within a few weeks or a few months, we'll have 6 or 7 different staking programs from there with different games. Some would be combined, even as some games want to sort of work together. Some will be just ourselves and the game itself. And then obviously there's sort of the lottery version and the sort of blue chip NFT one as well. But the season 2, not yet. What for me, from our perspective, I do really want to see what will be the result in terms of transactional volume. So like by January, to really sort of launch season 2 itself for us.
Yeah, those are pretty much the questions that we have for now. I think you can go on with the rest of the topics.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so the rest, I guess, and this is this has a lot of sort of numbers involved. So we, as you guys know, a few weeks ago we launched well, together with the Hatchworks team, so Phoenix. So they've launched the app Phoenix. I don't know if any of you have downloaded yet or even tried to use the product. So which is a liquidity mining app where you can download, where you can sort of send a certain amount of USDC, and with that they would sort of start providing liquidity onto various platforms like Uniswap, 1inch, and JTrader, and from there they will be mining liquidity based on the tiers that you choose. You'll have the high risk all the way to low risk. You'll have up between, I think 12 was it 7 to 20% APY. That's during bear markets. I know when I look at I've seen their sort of numbers. They can reach up to 50% APY during bull runs, so that's pretty interesting. But obviously, due to the state of crypto right now, they don't want to make too many crazy promises. Now we did an AMA, and it was I think it was really good, and we met with the Hatchworks team when they were in Singapore last week as well. I think it was pretty good, and I think what they're for me personally, from an investor point of view. And when I say an investor, it's an investor who has sort of, who's looking at two kind of investments. One is like your typical DGen investment where you're making a sort of gamble, and another one where you sort of, put some money aside and just let it earn some yield on it. It's a pretty interesting concept where obviously it provides much better than a bank. And even for like those bigger investors, when you look at it, it provides even better APY than even a real estate investment, for example. But knowing the space in crypto, I know many are still sort of would not invest the amount they would invest in real estate into crypto unless it's a real deep investment. So for us, we took note of what were the points brought up, what were the questions brought up, and main questions and the points were, in terms of the fuel, in terms of the gas fees, and also like to some maybe the APY is not really interesting. So for us, we sort of took back the feedback and went back to the drawing board and decided to build a jet pool around it. So the jet pool is pretty simple. It's basically ourselves as a team and as a community. We would pool together the amounts that you guys want to invest. So Phoenix right now has a barrier of entry of $1,000. We would lower it down to 100, and then we'll always make up for sort of the rest that's missing. So for us, we'll try to accumulate. So every 1,000 we'll put it in. But if, for example, somebody gives like 100 and nobody puts in after that, or we have like 2,100, we'll fill up that sort of gap of like, everything else that's sort of missing. And with that, what we've sort of decided to do, but with a certain holding period, because Phoenix app basically can withdraw anytime you want. For us to ensure stability in the token price, there would be a holding period at least of 90 days. You would get from 90 days onwards 50% of that APY putting cred, and all the way up to 180 days of that APY increase to 100%. Now, when we say, it's very important to sort of understand how APY works. So for example, if you choose to stake 92 days, so it's going to be 50% APY in cred. It's not as if you put in $100, 50% APY is like $50, right? It's not $50. It's, you have to divide it by the amount of days. So APY is per year, so you have to divide it by 365. That's the amount of days per year, and then you'll get that amount in cred. I will create a sheet, a sort of cheat sheet where you guys can have a quick look. First a cheat sheet and then a sort of calculator so that you guys can do quick calculations on it as well, so that you really understand how the APYs work. Just to make sure that nobody sort of gets surprises when they sort of receive, when they decide to withdraw. But I think one thing that's interesting that we sort of start doing as well is to sort of enable some of the SFT's utility. So anybody who has, and take note, it's only one SFT. So if you have 10 rare, you can't use all 10 and accumulate them. You have to choose which one that you want to use. If you have a rare and above that has merge, you'll be able to increase your APY up to an additional 25%. So let's say you have one secret rare and one rare, and maybe your secret rare has, your merge score is only 1 or 2, and then but your rare, your merge is like 7 or 8. Then you'll still get more APY on that rare merge. So you'll have to sort of choose which one you want to choose, or if you don't have any merge, you can just sort of try to re-roll your SFT to sort of get that sweet spot number that you guys sort of want to have. That's sort of the gist of it. It's a lot of information that actually, because there's a lot of math involved. So this was an initial announcement. We're looking at doing this by end of September. Actually, I'm targeting by third week of September to sort of finalize all the numbers, especially from the SFTYs, and then sort of launch it by the 4th week of September so that we can sort of do it. In between, just to sort of understand what the demand would be on our end, so that we can see if we need to tweak any numbers based on the demand. We will sort of send sort of little polls or surveys to people who are interested to participate. And we would also need to see who has KYC before, because for Phoenix, you'll be going through us, but then we would need to KYC you guys. But just similar to Phoenix is the level 1 KYC, so it's only your email. We don't need to know your ID or your address, etc., and all that. But those who have KYC previously with us, whether was it for the pre-sale or SFTs, etc., and all that, they wouldn't need to. I think the other thing that's interesting that we're doing as well, right now, it's like you're depositing, I believe, only USDC. We actually take all stables, including ETH, Bitcoin, and Matic. Those are the 3 main coins that we sort of hold ourselves during this bear market. And we're also giving the opportunity to make purchases or deposits with through credit card as well. So we'll be creating sort of Stripe links for you guys to be able to do that. Do take note that with that said, please do not invest beyond what you would want to invest normally, even if it's just with crypto. That's very important. So yeah, that's that. That's pretty much it in terms of the updates and in terms of JetPool. I'm sort of keeping it short today. It's just sort of because we haven't caught up in a while, and just sort of giving you guys some updates. There are a few things that are sort of working in the back that we just need to sort of finalize and sort of announce within the next few weeks to come. One thing that sort of also to touch point, obviously you guys have seen, we're also in a very, I think, very exciting and interesting partnership, or cross-marketing partnership, I would call it, with the Preem team. So they are a project right now run by One-Legged, and he has been with us from the start in terms of supporting us, whether it was pre-sale or SFTs, but also in terms of the content that he creates and promoting us to the whole Shiba Inu community. So now Preem is sort of also part of that whole, those tokens that sort of JSON or within that Shiba Inu universe. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan. But it's really interesting to see. Right now, it's just we're just working on announcements. Jonathan's is going to be caught up with ETH Toronto, but I think once he's sort of back, we can really discuss more on how we can make this partnership really fruitful for both our communities in terms of really understanding what is their vision and progress in terms of the utility and whether there's NFTs, SFTs, etc., and all that, and how we can sort of support each other and whether there's a game, etc., and all that. They're very early stages, which is really exciting. Reminds us of our early days. So really excited to see sort of what we can bring on together, like sort of fresh ideas and fresh blood, and also at the same time ourselves, what we can bring on with KD Arena and the games that we sort of built. That's pretty much it for me with my rant. If you guys have any questions, let me read the chat first. So Bree, I've mentioned, so there's no stack SFTs. Suleiman, he said he wants to create some content on social media for the project. You're more welcome to do so. For us, I think a lot of people know, I mean, even us from the leadership side, it's been it's on the chain, and we have not been withdrawing from marketing wallet. We have not been taking any salaries ourselves. The whole team, we've been working on basically just on making this project sort of succeed. You're more than welcome to create, but we don't pay for content creation on social media, if that's the question.
I just wanted to add here, Josh, that we are going to make sure that you look extremely good at ETH Toronto. Shippreem's main focus as your partner right now is making sure the world sees you, comes and looks at you, and we're going to continue to put things out. So we're very thankful to be here with you, and we just want to lift each other up. There is no competition in crypto. It's all about getting more people involved, and that's what we want to do. So thank you very much, Josh.
And that's a very good point, and I'm sure you'll have I'm sure you'll have your sort of goals and targets when you reach ETH Toronto in terms of what you want to do. But if you're there in terms of how it could support JEDSTAR and KD Arena in some ways, this is something similar that I sort of did in Vietnam. Is basically, so right now when we organize matches and tournaments, like I said, we can garner like a few thousand players for just one single tournament, and we launch like a few tournaments per week kind of thing. So when it comes to Web3 games, we're looking for opportunities to increase their daily average users, etc., and all that, or just to sort of expose their games. What is very important is like we don't promise people purchasing tokens or NFTs, because we have a huge community. It's also the community that we have right now that we started targeting first. It's more of the active gaming community, less the spending gaming community. But if they're looking to sort of at least increase visibility and people using their game, I would love to speak to them.
Well, when it comes to ETH Toronto, I want everybody to just start looking at you and start coming into the fold and letting you take over from there and explain your project. And also, we have a big business partnership, and I want you to be a big part of the solutions there for NFTs, as we spoke about before. So we're going to open up a lot of doors together.
Awesome. Pretty exciting. All right. Does anybody have any more questions?
I have a question, Josh. Is there any update for Shibarium, as far as JEDSTAR goes?
Yeah, so you guys can still see my screen. So we'll be launching our own chain on January. That's together with the Cypherium team that we've sort of been building on the back end. We have also been testing our tokens and our platforms on multi-chain, including Shibarium. Shibarium will most likely be the last, and when I say be the last, it will most likely be November, December in terms of timeline for us. we will be focused on first Ethereum, and we have 2 other partners that we're working with, which is Scale and Tezos. One of the reasons why, the reasons why we're doing those before Shibarium, 1 Ethereum, because pretty much everybody's on it. 2, for Scale and Tezos, they're actually offering us support from the development side, but also from providing liquidity side. Because once we launch on a new, sort of chain, we'll need to provide the liquidity there in the various DEXs that are popular on those chains. We would want to really have that kind of similar partnership with Shibarium. I've been in touch with them, but they'll like reply me once and then reply me again 3 months later. But regardless of their response, we will still sort of launch there, because we do want to really, myself personally, I'm pretty much also part of, and not shilling here, the sort of Shiba Inu community as well. I do sort of, it would be really nice for us to be part of that whole growth that the Shibarium would sort of bring all the projects that are sort of coming on board. And then there's also when knowing when is their launch as well. So I need to check again. I didn't check the dates when they are launching officially, but for us to be able to sort of dedicate a time to be there would be November onwards.
Thank you for the update.
No problem. If there isn't any more questions, I would like to give me a second, guys. No, never mind. I wanted, because I think you guys might have seen or might have not seen yet, actually, to be honest. We are gonna, one of our community members is also joining us as an admin and joining part of the sort of the working team on the back end, sort of help us support in many ways, which is Laurent Kess. I wanted him to sort of introduce himself, but I think he just had to jump out because he has an actual work call, so he's not here anymore, which is too bad. But we'll do that another time. And yeah, besides that, if there's any last questions, I'm just going to give it a few more seconds. Then I guess that's pretty much it. But obviously, we will be going to be staying online. So if you guys if questions come out a bit later, or if you guys want to just prefer ask via text, just feel free to sort of drop them in the chat, and we will answer you as we go. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I know it's been pretty brief. The next one should be pretty long because we would actually come out. The next call would be our official launch of KD Arena. We'll be launching with, we've got about a very eager, we've got a wide list of about 30K right now. 2,000 will be the first numbers that we're going to start on board. They're pretty eager, and every day we're sort of messaging us. We've also got quite a few Web3 games that are pretty excited sort of for us to sort of make all these various announcements. So myself personally, I can't wait for us to sort of reach there, and it's going to be a lot of exciting times ahead. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great evening or morning.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.